Hello and welcome everybody to Nerding Out, a show where Fred and I talk about something that we really care about. And in this case, it's going to be Game of Thrones Season 6. Did I miss anything in that intro that you want to go back and cover?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It sounds fine. You guys let us know.
Steamroll ahead.
We've recorded this about 29 times now on estimation. So I'm kind of to the point where
we're good.
We just want to get to the meat and potatoes of it.
But
we want to talk to you about it.
In case you have any questions, this is going to be a show that focuses on a single topic.
Correct.
We're going to be going in depth about something that either one of us cares about or we both really care about. And Season 6 of Game of Thrones finished up just earlier this week.
Oh, yes, it did.
So we're going to fucking talk about it until we are blue in the face.
I don't think we're going to talk about it that much.
Like fucking Joffrey on his wedding day. References.
By the way, spoilers for anything Game of Thrones.
Fuck. Oh, God.
Well, if you didn't know about that,
Tell me that was going to be in the video, like, title and description and everything.
Most likely. So, anyway, if you didn't know, heavy spoilers for Game of Thrones, not only Season 6, but possibly all the series. So just be forewarned.
Whoops.
I'm sorry about this giant... I will not go further.
The show is not old. It's fine.
Anyway. Welcome to our inaugural episode.
Yeah.
So let's just start off with that. But anyway, let's get into it.
So I figured we would take this, try and analyze like groups of characters. It seems like the easiest way to talk about it. Because Game of Thrones, you get like 15 different storylines in every goddamn episode. And like shit happens that's like small for some groups in some episodes and like huge for other groups in episodes. So it just seemed easier to like look at the entire season as an arc and just talk about it.
I like it.
Obviously some huge bombs dropped. This is the season, like just speaking generally about the season, easily probably the best Game of Thrones season yet.
Yeah. As a whole, absolutely, in my opinion.
After 5 seasons of building up to all this new, like all this crazy shit that was going to happen, it finally started happening.
Yeah. So
it's happening.
It's happening. These last 2 episodes of this season were amongst my favorite in the series. The only one that is up there in like the top 3 right now is the episode with the wall.
Right. The Battle on the Wall?
Yes.
I don't know if that's the name of the episode.
I don't remember, but you guys know, if you are here and you're still watching, you probably know about it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable episode. I loved every second of it. These 2 episodes are on the same tier.
Right.
They're unbelievable.
Right. But those are obviously deep into the season.
Indeed.
So like we talked about this a little bit like before we recorded this. I was worried about this season when it first started. Like on episode 1, not a lot happened. Like Jon Snow, again, heavy spoilers. So just like, this is your final warning. Jon Snow still dead after the first episode. A lot of build up, a lot of setup for different storylines that are going to start throughout the rest of go throughout the rest of the season. But like, not a lot happens. And at this point, I'm freaking. And then and then episodes 2 through 10. Perfect.
So good.
Yeah.
I think there may have been like one episode that was a little bit slow, but the pacing for this season was unbelievable.
Yeah.
They did a great job from second episode on, as you said.
I would say
I'd say from beginning on.
Yeah.
You still, like, you want to kind of leave people lingering about how to feel about the whole Jon Snow thing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were like, they're going to let us know immediately. I kind of liked the fact that they were kind of like, well...
No. We're going to tease you a little bit.
Yeah,
We're going to make you wait. No, I get it, and like I understand. Like that's the thing about a show like this is very similar to shows like other streaming only shows like Daredevil and like a lot of Netflix productions where everything drops at once.
Correct.
In that they expect you to be invested for the entire season.
Yeah.
So like if you are going into the first episode of Daredevil, like things happen. It's a cool show, but like that Daredevil's best episode was like its 3rd, right? And like things don't really start picking up until like the 2nd or 3rd episode. So they expect you to like be okay with that setup and then come back and get the payoff.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's a fair assessment because like I said, the whole first 5 seasons had like payoffs in interspersed throughout. Yeah. But mostly it all led up to this.
Yeah. Well, season 5 was kind of like, shaky.
Yeah, you've mentioned before that is probably your least favorite. I mean,
it's my least favorite. It had a lot of build up, but no payoff.
Yeah,
really.
A lot of Ramsay torturing people.
Yeah, and then a lot of Ramsay torturing people, and then he end the season on killing Jon Snow. I was like, bruh,
God damn,
I don't know how to feel about this.
Nah.
But it's as far as it went, the story was told well. It just wasn't exactly what I was looking for out of it. I wanted solutions to some of the problems that were out there. This season did that. It's just all the theories that we had are starting to come together.
Exactly. Let's start talking about some of them. So,
Absolutely.
So Jon Snow comes back.
Yes.
And he and his crew, he's joined eventually by Sansa. They reunite in the north, like at the wall.
Yeah.
Davos is there. He's chilling. Melisandre is there. She's working with Jon Snow. Gets him back to life or whatever.
His small things.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Sorry.
Anyway, so that whole crew is like, okay, we have to go and retake Winterfell, right?
Yep.
So the whole season for them is about basically recruiting an army and making a plan, and then leading up to episode 9 where you have the Battle of the Bastards between Ramsay Bolton and Jon Snow.
Oh yeah.
The first really like I've never seen a medieval melee like that in almost any other medium. Or any other TV show. I mean, if you think of like
those movies like Braveheart.
Well, I think because that was the next one I was going to talk about, Braveheart. I was going to say that is the only exception where they kind of do it, but like it's not even that. It's not even on the same level. I think. Like if you went back and rewatched Braveheart and you consider the fact that like Jon Snow is literally getting like suffocated and trampled under people. Like Braveheart is very focused on the hero still.
Yeah.
And this one, in Game of Thrones, you saw that even the hero becomes like an animal when it comes to like a battle like that, a medieval battle where it's just blood, guts, mud, arrows raining down.
Man, that scene though where he's just cutting through people.
Jon Snow is reportedly one of the best warriors in the land, right? I mean, it's amazing that you didn't hear as much about that prior to this. Like you knew he was good, but like this season they were like, oh yeah, no, he's really good. He's like known for being good. Yeah.
Well, you kind of get it in season 1 where they're like, well, he teaches everybody.
Yeah. He's like, I'm the best one here. What are you doing?
Yeah. Like even if I'm not mistaken, Ned was kind of like, listen to him. Like you might not be your full brother, but like you should probably listen to him. He's not bad. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, his story arc came. Do we want to talk about Jon's story first?
Let's just get it out of the way because we're going to dance around it the rest of the episode. Jon Snow, maybe the reason he's such a good warrior and so good in battle is that he is probably part Targaryen.
Oh, you didn't know? They confirmed it.
Oh, they did? They said it
confirmed it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, he's I guess definitively part Targaryen, which is a family known for their ferocity in battle, A
little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like, you even saw it, and we're going to get to this in a little bit, but with Dany in some of her battle scenes where she's just like, her ruthlessness.
Oh, yeah.
It shines through. And it's kind of like, it's really interesting to see Jon Snow maybe caught between both sides of that, like his Stark side and his Targaryen side, where he wants to be tempered and, like, even killed like his adoptive father. Yeah. But he also wants to, like, he knows how to stomp someone out in battle.
Yeah. Basically, it's just the fight between light and dark, if you will.
Yeah.
It's a battle inside him that he has to basically conflict with himself, but doesn't want to seem weak, but also does not want to seem too dominant.
He places, I think, a very high value on honor. Yeah. Which is something that Ned Stark, you saw from the beginning of season 1 until his untimely demise.
Hell of the first season.
Yeah, right? Ned Stark was all about honor. Like, the reason he didn't run or try and survive throughout the end of the first season, I think, was because he was like, no, this is going to be fine. I'll be totally cleared. I am clean as a fucking whistle,
he's
know?
Like, I have done no wrong
so he's like,
at all. Almost honor, my entire life.
Honor compels him to, like, stay and, like, fight these charges or whatever.
And we actually see that honor shine through in season 6, too. At the end,
with
basically, like, we know now that he basically lied to his wife the entire time because he wanted to make sure the kid's welfare was safe.
He made a promise to his dying sister, who had just given birth to Jon Snow, to, like, keep him safe.
Exactly.
So honor compelled him to raise a child in a household where he would be kind of hated to make sure that he would be safe. Yeah.
I mean, hated throughout the lands, really.
But that's
that entire family was kind of
at least in the south, yeah.
Yeah.
You mean the Targaryens?
The Targaryens.
Oh, yeah.
No, their house was constantly looked at like
scum. Well, but also
after the Mad King,
feared,
yeah,
feared or hated, either way. But that's not the only thing that happened to Jon Snow. He's also got some new sick titles at the end of the season. He is now the King in the North.
Yep.
Which I thought was a little weird. I don't know how you read the scene towards the end of the season, where his bannermen or whatever are chanting for him, right? Mm-hmm. Did you think it was a weird position for him to be in, having just told Sansa that, like, nah, you should have the honors, like you should have the power here, and then they go and they're sitting in that room and all the bannermen are chanting, and he's just like, well, I guess sorry, dude. I guess it's me now.
Well, so the thing is, you have to look at it from their perspective, where Jon's like, I want you to have the power. You are the true Stark name.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if all these houses are going to
Follow them
together and go under his rule, you gotta, you have to do that in order to do what you need to do from now on.
I agree. I just wonder if we'll see in the next season, like, Sansa rejecting that a little bit. She's got a little bit of, like, she's been infected, if you will, by Littlefinger's devious ways, you know? You get what I mean? He's a slimy fucking character. That's the point of his character.
The actor is so good.
Is right for him.
He's plays so
I guess.
well.
I don't know.
So well.
Yeah, but so Sansa had a good season. Jon had a good season. The Starks, I think we talked about this at one point. I think the Starks won the season.
Yeah.
As far as redemption, if you want to get into Arya's story, like, the Stark name won the season with only one loss, really.
Well, yeah. I mean, but he wasn't really in it too much anyway.
One non-zigzagging loss.
Yeah. I mean, just look back, wait for him to shoot, and then jut one way. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, your life's on the line. You're freaking out, but
I don't know, man.
You know what he's doing.
Yeah. if you don't know who we're talking about Rickon.
Rickon ate it.
Yeah. He took an arrow to the knee.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. I mean, like, Sansa was totally right. As soon as he was in Bolton's clutches, like, he was dead.
Yeah.
And, like, that's why when he, brought him out onto the battlefield, I was like, oh, this is it. Like, I thought maybe they would get into Winterfell and they'd find Rickon dead. Mm-hmm. But no, I was like, oh, this is exactly how Ramsay would want to play this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it worked. His plan worked to perfection.
Yeah, until Littlefinger showed up with the Knights. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Sansa.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Pretty much what it comes down to.
So, do you want to move on to the other big movement, which is probably Dany and Tyrion and Varys and, like, all her peeps?
Yeah, sure.
Out in Marine. So they obviously had a very good season as well, because what you're finally seeing is the promise of season 1. Dany having an army and marching on Westeros is actually happening.
Finally.
Yeah,
it only took 6 years.
Just like winter, which is finally coming.
Yeah, it only took
winter
6 years.
Winter is here. Yeah.
I mean, our time. I don't know about story time. I have no idea how long the story is.
Ooh. Well, I mean, the weird thing is that you see the characters age.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking at a cast photo from the original, like, season, and I was like,
Bran?
Yeah, Bran, Jon, and his brother, who was the original king in the North, Robb. Yeah, like, all of them together. I was like, these are children.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, Maisie, Arya is like super young.
Yeah.
And she still is young. Like, that's the thing, man, is that they purposely let Bran age too.
Yeah.
They didn't bring him in for an entire season.
Yeah.
And then brought him back, and he was suddenly this teenager.
Yeah, he's basically a teenage like boy or whatever.
Yeah, essentially. So, but yeah. Anyway, the thing with Dany and everybody going over to Westeros finally, bringing their army, she's just going through. Just a badass the entire way, especially in episode, was it 9?
Yeah.
I think it was 9, yeah. Where she's just like, oh, everybody's trying to come after me? Did you forget to have dragons?
Yeah, dude. So this is the real theme of the season, if you ask me, is a consolidation of powers.
Yeah.
So, like, the North was fractured. It's now pretty much unified under one name, and they have their power. We're going to get to it later, but Cersei consolidated power. She cleared the board. These are people clearing the board of these, weaker hanging on pieces. And Dany. Daenerys cleared that board. She took out the masters. She gathered an army. Like, she pulled in pieces. She made them hers. And now she's sending them all at Westeros.
She essentially owns Essos now.
Yeah, I mean, it's seemingly.
Pretty much all.
If she doesn't already, she could.
Yeah,
like
I think that the only town that she doesn't, I think, is Braavos.
Braavos is probably the only one.
And that's because it's way up north. But she has pretty much that entire southern part of
Essos, the whole coast certainly.
It's just all hers now.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's really exciting to see this, because it's been, at the very least, it's been this season of them bringing together forces. But really, if you think about it, it's been 5 seasons of people shuffling each other out of the way, or trying to cling on to their power, right? Mm-hmm. And now it's all like it all belongs in the hands of maybe like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. It's who? Cersei, Jon and Sansa.
Jon and Sansa, the Stark.
You got Daenerys.
Yeah.
And I guess, who else do you want to include in?
I mean, Daenerys, like, even Dorne is on the side of Daenerys now. Like, she even has allies in Westeros to secure a safe landing.
The other place I was going to say, because they seized power.
And she has the Greyjoys.
Yeah.
Daenerys has the most support, really, of anyone.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, but it's many different varieties of armies, too, if you look at it, too. You got the Dothraki, you have the Unsullied, you have the Greyjoys, and then you have...
disparate parts, kind of a modeled cloth.
Well, I mean, a lot of, like, you take it from the sea, you have, like, the ruthlessness of the Dothraki, and then you have the like the Unsullied and how uniform they are, everything that they do,
the battle prowess of
and
the Unsullied.
You have like the secretive nature of the people of Dorne. You know,
they do seem to know what they're some fierce warriors, but I'm curious to see whether or not they'll really end up fighting for Daenerys.
They could turn their back on it,
because so Dorne resisted the Targaryen rule for like a really long time. I think Dorne was the only people to not be conquered by the Targaryens, which is maybe why they'd be cool with the Targaryens being in power, because they actually married in to the Targaryen family, which brought them into the Westerosi kingdom. So that's how that happened, and they were never. That's why the line for Dorne is, I think, unbowed, unbent, unbroken, because they've never been crushed. Which is maybe, I think that actually probably is why they're more open to that relationship with the Targaryens, because they're like, hey, we were fine before, we'll be fine again. We just get you in here. You agree to leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. All good.
Yeah, pretty much how it goes.
We'll give you some Dornish wine.
As soon as you see like the size of her army, too, you hear about it, you're like, how are they going to stop that? Like,
how is
anybody in Westeros going to really stop that?
Yeah. You know? Well, this is a question now. Like, Dany is, I guess, in theory, Jon's aunt, right? I'm 90% sure.
Or cousin,
because Dany is the youngest sibling of the dude that I think fathered. No, not the youngest sibling of the Mad King, but the youngest sibling of the Mad King's children. And the oldest child of his, I think, was the one who took Liliana? No.
I don't remember.
Lyanna?
But I thought the person that took the basically Ned's sister, I thought he was the brother of the Mad King.
No, he was the son.
He was the son.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then it looks like he is his aunt.
So that would be his aunt, but like they don't really know that, and you don't know if that would be a sticking point for them. And they're about the same age, presumably.
They're gonna get it on.
You think like so this is a theory being tossed around by a lot of people. Maybe they meet up with each other. They both have very long, impressive titles.
Oh my God! How many titles do you have?
They just stick that shit together, and suddenly you've got a crazy alliance.
Well, this is something we spoke about previously as well, where I think that their interests align almost perfectly, where they don't want to be ruled by someone that they don't seem fit, like that doesn't care about the people.
Exactly.
And that's how Jon is with his morals. He brought in an entire race of people that the entire people of Westeros hate.
Yeah, just to make sure they didn't die.
Exactly. So,
and maybe a little bit more selfishly to make sure they didn't end up as pawns in a greater army.
It's true. So I mean, that's one way you can look at it. But him caring for somebody or for an entire people is something that is very like Daenerys.
Yeah.
Now she also has a little bit more of a tyrannical,
a little bit more political savvy, a little bit more like, I know what I'm doing. Don't fuck with me. You know what I mean? Like, don't come up into this house and try and fuck with me.
Just don't do it.
Yeah. So no, I think you're right about that. But I would be, both seem to be interested in leaving the world a better place.
Yeah.
Than they had found it, and Dany has made that very clear, and Jon through his actions, I think, has also made that very clear. So I think it would actually feel awkward and uncomfortable as a viewer to see them fight, because you'd be like, you wouldn't really. There's no bad guy.
Well.
But maybe that's something that the show would do anyway.
Well, my theory is that Dany is going to go. She's going to attack King's Landing, I think directly, head-on assault, after she meets up with Dorne.
Sure.
You go through, you hit that, and then everybody in the North hears about this and is like, maybe this is our time to go for the throne. Like, we don't know who this is.
Yeah.
They go down there, they start fighting, right? And then that's when the threat of the White Walkers comes into play.
King. Yeah.
Yeah, they finally break through the wall some way, shape, or form, and they find boats and they go around the wall or something.
Whatever the case is, yeah.
And then they have to basically combine their efforts to go through and attack this.
I think that is the most likely scenario, but I also kind of think that might be why it doesn't happen.
It's very true.
Because it seems to make too much sense.
Yeah, too on the nose.
Yeah, exactly.
For Game of Thrones.
You wonder. So the season, I think, this is probably the last thing we need to talk about. The season ends with Cersei. Yeah. And it opens and then closes with Cersei, this episode. This final episode, where she, like I said, clears the board in maybe the most dramatic fashion we've seen in the show yet.
Yep.
We've seen crazy
killing
battles.
all our children.
Yeah, we've seen crazy battles. We've seen insane coups. But this is it.
Yeah. Well, she
blowing up all of your enemies all at once in a building that you hate.
Well, all your enemies but one.
Okay.
Was down
she missed Olenna Tyrell.
Yeah.
But she crushed House Tyrell.
Yeah.
And, any heirs, anyone of real note from House Tyrell is gone.
Yeah. Well, you have Tyrell is gone, the whole house pretty much of the future. You have all of the sparrows, if you will. I don't know what they're actually are. They
the Faith,
the Faith,
and the Faith Militant.
Kill all of them.
They're all gone.
So
the High
that
Sparrow
was the biggest
off the board.
Yeah.
He was the first one to go.
Yeah, he was like gone. So you really look at it like, who's the threat?
Yeah,
and she did depending on what way you look at it, did a great job of making sure of getting rid of everybody, but.
Unfortunately,
in doing that,
Tommen, the king at the time, couldn't take it and took his own life, which means Cersei is down
to
zero children.
Yep.
0 children.
None. No.
And
heirs.
it doesn't look like she's gonna be making too much more because Jaime Lannister gets back from his battle of pretty little consequence. If you know.
Yeah. He was just like, well, I'm gonna cut off a baby and chuck it at you.
It was important. Yeah, it was important for the season, but not necessarily important for the overarching story.
No.
He seems a little bit freaked out by Cersei right now. If you, as a viewer, I was like, ooh, he doesn't look too happy with what she just did. Because he killed the last regime, the leader of the last regime, for threatening to do the same thing. And she went and did it. She, used wildfire to blow up, a whole sector of the city, basically. Yeah.
Crazy.
So we'll see if he sticks around. We've talked before about the light and dark side of Jaime Lannister, whether or not, that is something he could stomach.
It's true.
He threatened to cut a baby in half and launch it over a wall, but maybe that was just a threat.
I can't see him doing that, but if this is also the character that we've seen over 6 seasons,
he's changed the most, I think.
He has changed a lot, but we haven't seen his actions ever in war.
It's true.
So we don't know. But my theory with this is that he might have to kill Cersei too.
He might try. I think that's too cut and dry, though.
Yeah, but it's for doing the same thing. He might just you killed all my children.
Yeah,
every single one of them died for something that you did.
This I think might be the point where he breaks.
Yeah, I don't know what he would do otherwise.
Yeah,
but
so let's see. Did we miss anyone?
We didn't talk about Arya.
Arya trained a lot harder. Finally came back to Westeros,
yes,
she got a little bit of revenge.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she did.
That meat pie. Though.
Oh, that is
that's a horrible way to
So South Park did it.
Right? When you're talking about South Park and Game of Thrones in the same episode, you're like,
South Park did it, but it was more cartoony and kid ate his parents or whatever. It was bad. I'm not gonna. It was really bad, especially for what is essentially it's an adult cartoon, I guess.
It is.
But she really hates that dude. But she made a guy eat his own children, and then she cut him.
Yeah, it's
real good. Yeah,
savage. It had to be done. She has had that list, and she's finally gotten the training far enough where she can go through and she can perform these acts now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to stop her, but
I don't think so.
One thing I do want her to just come back to House Stark and then them just be
okay,
so many different powers that they have.
Think about it. You got Jon the Unkillable.
Essentially.
Sansa is scheming, right?
She's got political
know-how. And then you got Bran the Mystic.
Yeah, pretty much can warg into any simple-minded person or animal.
And fucking Arya the assassin.
Yeah. What more could you want?
Like you were putting, like you could send that team into Star Wars, and like that could just be the Rogue One team, and they'll just fix all the problems.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
It's if House Stark can come back together in its full power.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be unbelievable.
Yeah, happens. Absolutely.
But that remains to be seen. Arya is very much set on her own way. She always has been.
Yeah,
and they've basically shown that.
But if she hears, she's in the North now. If she hears that Jon Snow is king in the North, I bet Arya comes back.
Yeah, she's like, I
was a big fan of that guy. Big fan of that guy.
I kind of like that guy.
Okay, here's the last thing that I want to talk about. The Hound is back.
Yeah.
What happens if Arya runs into the Hound?
Oh my god.
And you get that pair again.
Well, a pair?
Or do you think she would just...
I think she's going to straight kill him.
Gonna get him.
Gonna get him. So, well, actually, let's think about this, right? Is that...
Has she gone past that?
Maybe she's got the satisfaction that she killed him already. But
basically, yeah.
Do we know? It's basically going to come down to like if she finds out that he is alive, is like does that sensation come back? Or is she like I've already killed you once. I'll let you live.
We're good.
But maybe on the other side, the Hound's like I hate everything. I hate you. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Or do you think he's grateful that he even has life and like he won't underestimate people anymore?
He didn't seem, in the conversations he had with other characters, he didn't seem upset that he had been basically killed.
Yeah, he described this to the one guy, and the one guy laughed at him. He was like, fuck off.
He seemed like he had been like he died-ish. He was like
very
almost killed.
Yeah.
And he almost like learned something from it. Like he did change his life after the fact.
Yeah. He seems to be caring about more people.
Yeah.
And trying to help them rather than
for
his own selfish needs.
Well, until those people get killed. And then he goes on a rampage.
Then he goes on a rampage.
No, but I think that's a
typical story, you know.
Yeah, classic. So I think that's it. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
I'm just looking at the list. Peter Baelish, he is a son of a bitch.
He's fucking scheming. But he did show up and help the Starks out.
He did help him, but
he's got his own
And then
plans.
he's like, I want to be with you, Sansa.
Yeah, it's still creepy.
Like, so you can't get the mother, go for the daughter. Still makes sense, right? Game of Thrones.
Creepy.
Pretty much. I don't know.
Still creepy.
It is very much creepy.
But yeah, no, that's...
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
So we all, I guess we're all nerded out. Hotly anticipating season 7.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do like quick versions of these in a year when that finally comes out. We'll see what's up.
Yeah, we have to wait for it to come back out in 42 weeks.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Not that you're counting.
Only a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Really enjoyed having you here with us talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, man.
If you have any opinions or theories, we'd love to hear them in the comments below or tweet at us. I'm at Jack is Gaming. This is at Fred_Sully. I'm sure, yes, your fancy new graphics are here.
I am.
Let's hope so.
I'm making them at the moment. Yeah. We're going to see how they come out. Anyway, you can also follow us at Knerds Podcast.
For everything we're doing.
Yes, any updates that we have as far as Nerds go in terms of videos or podcasts, whatever it might be. Let us know what you think about this. This is something new that we are trying. We're trying to see how people like it.
Yeah.
We are also trying to think of some other things. If you guys want to throw us suggestions as to maybe some other videos that we should try, do let us know either in the comments, tweet at us, whatever it might be. If you are enjoying the content, please sub to us down below. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Covers it all.
Cool.
So, anyway, thank you so much, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching.
And if you like that video, make sure you guys don't subscribe, don't share, and don't like the video. In fact, just click off and leave.
Are you trying to use reverse psychology on the internet?
You know I'm not going to do it, right?
I have confidence in you, buddy.
All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. You fucking sack of shit.